Hey guys, welcome to another Protein Bros podcast. I'm your host, Jeff Wasserman, as with me as always, Kyle. Today we sit down with Brian and Christie Cook, who are now the new proud owners of the first ever Basecamp Fitness here in Kansas City. They're going to be opening it in Overland Park here next week. And we sit down with them. We talk through their story as far as how they got started with Basecamp. They worked for years in gyms before trying their hand at opening their very own. Listen in, this gym concept is very new, very unique, very cool. And I think you guys are going to get a lot out of it. Now tune in and let us know what you guys think in the comments. Right now, you guys are in the preliminary stages of opening up your first ever solely owned business by the two of you.
Nerve-wracking, eh?
And a husband and wife combo. Have you guys worked together before fully?
Same company, but not under the same roof.
Yep.
So
Not side by side, but not in the same room.
no.
Man, all kinds of firsts going down. So
Yeah.
talk to me first. Who started in fitness first?
Probably you.
Me, yeah. I mean,
Brian, for our listeners.
yes. So out of high school, I worked at a gym, Olympic gym,
Mhm.
north of the river. I was there for a few years.
Oh, here in Kansas City.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The original OG.
The
Before
OG.
it went to Impact and came back and all
Yep.
the other names that it was.
Correct.
Cool.
Yep. So spent time there. Moved to Los Angeles in 2008. And
What brought you out to Los Angeles, Brian?
we won't
A
talk
girl.
about that.
It wasn't me.
Oh, we
will-
will talk about that.
Contrary to your belief, we will talk about that actually. So no worries.
Somebody else, but
Yeah.
started working at 24 Hour Fitness in Los Angeles. Spent time there.
You're a trainer? Is
I
that
was
how you
not,
got?
No.
Okay.
Sales?
Membership, sales.
Yeah.
Yeah. So went through the sales.
This is you said 08.
08.
So this is like an era of fitness that was like really pre-social media at this point.
100%.
We had Facebook, but it wasn't huge for fitness at that time. There wasn't any stories, as an example, right? And so, what was like the fitness scene out in LA compared to here in Kansas City? Is that all your experience you had in the fitness community? Was KC in LA? Because I think all of us that are from the Midwest wonder how big is it? How different is it out there?
Yeah. I mean, it's totally different as far as member base, what you're looking at. There's competitors everywhere. So how do you stand out? I mean, for 24 Hour Fitness, I think there was 90 locations in the greater Los Angeles area. So
Wow, 90.
tons. Yeah.
Yeah, and tons of competitors. You're saying too.
Gold's Gym. I mean, there's Crunch. There's everything out there.
Sure.
So it was totally different for me. Eye-opening what fitness looks like in Los Angeles compared to here. I mean, I'd like to think that there was a lot of fitness here in Kansas City, but it obviously totally different.
I don't disagree. Yeah. What about you, Christy?
You
So
grew
I
up there?
I grew up there.
Okay, nice.
And I started in fitness in 2009 at 24 Hour Fitness.
Mm-hmm.
And when I first did it, it was a joke. And I thought, oh, okay, maybe I'll be a trainer because it was fun to do like mini tries and a half marathon. And I would always have my friends come with me. And after we do this couple mile run, we can go drink beer and hang out and all that. And so
I still like that.
right? And so I did that, but I had a lot of experience in sales. So once I got to 24, they were like, don't be a trainer. The money is in the sales.
Mm-hmm.
And so be a sales manager. So I started there. And I think, the difference for me, this is my first time being outside of California in terms of fitness industry, but there was a lot of hustle and bustle. And what I mean by that is, everything that I've learned in fitness and being like hustling and trying to getting that client, I learned at 24. I feel like every time we had somebody come in, like you'd have to give them a follow-up call and that follow-up call. And at the time we all were in, it was commission based. So my team, they were like hustlers. They were snakes. They were,
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah,
right?
we're familiar.
Right.
Very familiar.
And that's what was fun. That was the drive, It was talking about like, how are we going to get this person to come in? What are we going to do? Like, here's the
You guys are
here's the
hitting
play.
quotas and hitting goals,
Yeah.
and it's very like Wolf of Wall Street
Totally.
at the time.
And that's
Yeah.
what was fun. There was an ups, right? An ups board. And if you were hot and you were selling, then we're going to put you on ups again and again and again. Is that okay that I'm talking about all
No,
this,
that's
like, sales
here's
stuff?
the thing is like, so there's
Yeah, yeah.
there's kind of sales gets a bad rap, but if you're doing it and you are competitive at it and you have a good product that's helping people's lives, then there's nothing wrong with sales. the thing about like 2008-ish era is, like he was saying, it's before social media. So you could get away with a lot of stuff. And also in sales, if you know, I've worked in a lot of different sales jobs too. It's a turn and burn industry. So you turn over a lot of people as well. And in most of the sales jobs that I had, you would get, you know, the people that were in it that were kind of, you know, in it for the long haul and they believed in what they were selling. But you'd also get guys that would come in and they'd work for like 3 months and they were just like, I'm just trying to sell anything to anybody. You know, they weren't very talented people in general. But I think, like, as far as like success goes, those type of sales jobs where you're expected to hit quotas and you actually have to figure out how to read people, those are like the best jobs, I think, as far, and jobs that I think younger people could benefit a lot from now, because there is a lack of
it's throwing you in the deep end, right? So he's talking about like the cold calling of sales jobs, right? Just absolutely pick up a phone, here's a phone book, go.
Which
and
I'm sure you did a little of that. You probably
did.
had leads. You probably had lead boxes, I'm guessing, that you would call leads out of lead boxes. And
We did, but most of our leads, I would say, were warm leads. So I used to work for the Yellow Pages years and years ago, and I did cold calling then, and it was nothing like what cold calling is like at 24.
Yeah.
Right? You have your warm leads. But on that note, I think we got really lucky, or I got really lucky, and my team, they all worked out. They believed in the product. They believed in what fitness does for you. And I think like that transcended over to Basecamp. When we hire team members, it's not a requirement, but the expectation is that our team takes 10 classes a month at Basecamp, because when you do, then you understand the product more.
Yeah.
You'll kind of get to mingle with our members. It's just an easier way to talk about Basecamp if you live, breathe, and like do it every day.
For sure.
Or maybe not every day, but several times a week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a weird scenario when people are selling things that they're not utilizing themselves. You know,
Totally.
Like if you're selling something and you believe in it and you have a personal need for it, you should be using the product yourself. It'll make you talk about it in a more, you know, authentic way. You know, and that's the same thing like with our guys and, you know, supplements. It's like, you know, how are you going to talk to, you know, somebody about a certain pre-workout that you like unless you've taken that pre-workout, you know?
Totally.
I mean, it's a little bit different because you can talk about ingredients and, you know, ingredient amounts. But for the most part, it's like you want people using the products that they're actually trying to sell.
Totally.
So
we even go as far as when we partner with other businesses, we want to partner with people that we as a business have tested it before we give it to our members, because our members are trusting us. And if we don't want to partner with somebody who we feel like, I'm not sure if that's the right fit. So we go that far with, like, if somebody's trying to come in and do a tabling, well, we want to test it out first. Let us know what it's like. And if we love it, then we'll give it to our members and have our members try it.
yeah, there's no reason to rock your members' trust for no reason.
For sure.
You know, you want to be adding value to your members' lives, not, you know, taking away.
Well, I want to go back to the sales pit, you know, back in the day of just like it being really like salesy, right?
Yeah.
And, you know, ironically, 2008 is whenever I got my start with Supplement Superstore. And so we had a different way of doing things back then as well. But I would just say, you know, how does Basecamp relate to this? Specifically because, well, like we talked about with social media, the reason why Kyle brought that up is when sales in 2008, sales in 2010, no matter what it was, people had some really good intent, right? People that were there for the long haul, that really believed in the product, were people that were building relationships with customers, and it was a good thing, right? Unfortunately, everybody that has like why sales to this day has like a bad rep, I think comes majorly because of a lot of people who are not there for the long haul, that don't know what they're doing, but they're thinking, I need to sell this to get, you know, put food on my table. And they start to have that, you know, that different kind of intent where they're thinking, I just want to sell this and I don't care if it helps you. I don't care what the, you know, the aftermath of this looks like. And in the gym industry, so often people were getting pressure to buy, signing these 2-year contracts and so forth, and there was no repercussions for it. But social media has come out now where it's like, if you have a bad experience, you could put that out there and put that business on blast. And a lot of businesses didn't survive because they didn't change the way they did business, right? Well, to this day, we still have gyms here in town that try to lock you into a 2-year contract, that bring all kinds of high pressure sales, that have the same exact stuff that you were going through back in 2008. And they're still doing just fine because of the sheer amount of locations they have, right? But how does Basecamp relate to this now? Have you guys updated the way that you guys do things when it comes to this? I know you mentioned obviously them having to be a part of the classes, but you know, are people going to get a different experience when they come into Basecamp for that?
Yeah, 100%. So we want people to trust us and come in. So like our membership agreements, we ask 5 days notice if you cancel. So if for some reason it's not the right fit, we don't want, we don't
5 days is super graceful. Wow.
For sure. But we also know that people leave and come back, and we want them to have a great experience. So if it's not the right fit at that time, that's okay. They'll come back later and hopefully enjoy it then. But so, I've been places where it's that 2-month or 2-year contract, and that's brutal to talk to people about. I mean, that was my job at another gym in California.
Mm-hmm.
It was, hey, I didn't sign a 2-month or 2-year contract, and well,
yeah,
unfortunately you did. I know you didn't see the fine print, but that's that's what they did.
You kind of just skate over that when you're the sales guy. You're like, oh yeah, and it'll be a nice little 2-year contract, and anyways, it's going to be great because you're going to be using it.
You don't say the word year, man. It's 24 months.
Yeah, 24 months.
Exactly. Yeah.
Price perception.
Yeah, 700 days, dude.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah. So that's why we feel like that 5 days is really, really nice to the customer, but we want them to come back, and we want them to speak to other people. Like
that's
okay.
it. It's the word of mouth. It's, when you're sitting around the Thanksgiving table and somebody's like, I'm trying to get in better shape. And, maybe that person no longer, goes to the, no longer goes to you guys' gym, but they have a good impression because you guys didn't lock them into a contract. Like, hey, I was going to Basecamp. You should go check them out. And that positive word of mouth is worth 10 times more than locking somebody into a contract for 2 years,
100%. And we're trying to open 3 locations in this area.
Cool.
And so reputation is a big thing. And even when I was in Pasadena and we ran the Basecamp Fitness Pasadena during COVID, clearly nobody could work out. And so we froze everybody's memberships, but there were a lot of people who didn't know if they ever wanted to come back. And so we made it really easy for them to cancel. And when we reopened, so many of those members came back, which was really great to see. In fact, I think Pasadena had the highest rate of retention and the highest rate of people coming back. And so it's like, what are you doing? I'm like, well, I'm making it really easy for people to cancel. Not easy, but we will try to keep them. But if we can't keep them, well, here's 3 more classes for you to use while you're canceled. They're individual classes, so you can use them whenever you like. And if you need to give it to a friend because you're moving away, pass them along. Each class is $30 in LA. And so that's a little something to give to them every time someone cancels. And we had a lot of people come back.
That's awesome.
That's great. Yeah. I mean, dude, here, I'll never forget, I was a Genesis member, and Rodney Stevens laid off his entire team and then also charged everybody full price for April. And we had everybody was shut down in April. And man, he tried to spin it and was like, talking to mayors or governors and being like, you guys need to, come up with this and this and this to help out my team that I love so much. I'm like, bro, you just laid them all off, all of them. Like 2 weeks even before, like it was like March 17th, done, like just like that. So I was, and they charged everybody full price in April, and they weren't open, obviously.
What was fitness like? Because back here, you were hearing like horror stories during COVID of like how bad California was down as far as lockdowns go, and I mean it was pretty bad here as far as like for local fitness and these gyms that were trying to basically stay open. Was it pretty bad in California?
It was bad, but I think we did a really good job of pivoting and creating an online platform that was free for everyone to use for the first couple of months.
Very cool.
Then we very soon...
And this was Basecamp specifically that you're talking to. Okay.
We're like, what are we going to do to keep our members engaged, And so we created a platform online where people could come on, and it was completely free. And we put those workouts on our Basecamp Instagram page. They're actually still there for people who want to use it if they ever travel. And then after a couple of months, we pivoted to charging people a premium to use those classes. Of course, it wasn't the same rate as what you would do when you
come into the class. Yeah.
But it worked out really well. I mean, at one point we had people, his sister lived in Abu Dhabi at the time, and she and her friends were joining us for workouts online, and people in Asia were doing it. Like everyone from all over the world. It was actually really amazing to see so many people who moved and traveled who were still online with us.
Yeah, that's
so it was
very
really
cool.
Yeah.
Building a community online. It's fun to see that stuff kind of happen organically like that.
Yeah,
right?
we even had a mixer on via Zoom, and there were so many pages. I think there were like 200 people on, and we were like, whoa, I can't even keep up. Who's talking right now?
Yeah.
It was cool.
That is very cool. So I guess since we're getting into talking about Basecamp a little bit more, can you guys explain, you guys are group fitness, explain to our listeners, what Basecamp is and what they could expect if they visited a Basecamp?
We're a 35-minute interval training. So we utilize the assault bike for 1 minute and then on the ground. Exactly. And then for the strength, we do barbells, kettlebells, dumbbells, a little bit of everything. Every day is a different workout. And then after that 35 minutes, we have 10 minutes of core and stretching after. So I think for us, you're going to see a little heavier weights. The assault bike is what it is, low impact, but I think it's the best.
Sucks your soul.
It does.
Sucks your soul.
From your body. I mean, I literally we had
Here's the thing is in this room between Jeff and Luke, Jeff reigns supreme on the assault bike. That is true.
That's getting cut out.
No, we're not editing that out. And just to be fair, most recently on an assault bike challenge, I did 20 calories in 18 seconds.
Oh yeah. And then
Wow.
you left my house very quickly after that.
After I picked up my body off the floor, dude, I was like, I'm going to need a minute. I had to go away from everybody else.
So are you guys doing, are you guys typically doing longer paces on the assault bikes? Are you guys doing sprints or, how do you guys, or I guess you said it's HIIT classes. So they're primarily going to be I would guess Tabatas and things that are shorter durations with some rest in between.
For sure. The bike, the coaches are going to give out some sprints. They're going to give some different paces that you're going to use. But, it can also be the recovery that they need. Because some days it's really bike heavy that we're going to have a lot more sprints. We're going to have more of the pacing stuff. But there's other days where we want you to really lift heavier. So that bike is just for the recovery side.
Yeah.
When you guys were getting this going, so just to be clear for all of our listeners, you guys both had experience working within the Basecamp as staff or employees at the time, and now you guys have put yourselves in a position where you get to open your own, and you're opening your own franchise of this, right? And the goal is to open 3. Is that right, Christy?
Yep.
And so, this is such a big decision, and I think this is so cool, and this is I want to say this is our first podcast where we've had people who have worked for our company, proven themselves with a company, and then decided I'm going to open my very own. And we have staff that that want to do the same thing with us, that work for our company. And so I want to give them kind of an insight as to when did you feel like you knew you were ready to do this, right? And then I have some great follow-up questions just regarding what made you choose this one over others. When did you feel like you were ready along the way? And was it way earlier than when you actually got to?
I don't know if any man will understand this, but you never know. You can never be ready to have a baby, right? And so we never really knew so I think when we were at Basecamp, we always wanted to open one. And when Self-Esteem Brands acquired us and when they started franchising, we asked around a lot, what would it take for us to own our own? And I think we very soon realized that we don't have the money for this. Mm-hmm. That's, the bottom line. People who were opening Basecamps had 3 or 4 or 30 Anytime Fitnesses, or they already were huge business owners, moguls, right? Mm-hmm. And so it didn't even seem realistic at first. And so we kind of put that on the side, even though it was a dream of ours, we put it on the side for a while. And then, as new franchise owners were buying Basecamp franchises, we were the ones who were training them, the culture, how to build a culture, how to sell memberships, how to do corporates, how to do guerrilla marketing, all of that stuff. They were asking us. We were creating these playbooks for the franchisees. And I thought, wow, it's crazy that we're doing this. We're teaching people how to grow a business, right?
Why not us?
Yeah.
Why
and
not
so,
us?
yeah, we've had that conversation, but we never thought it was realistic. We are on studio manager salaries, right? And so it wasn't until one of our really good friends is an investor, and he came to take a class and was like, whoa, blown away at how successful the class was, how many people that were in the class, and that we knew everybody by name. Mm-hmm. And it was just...
You got to see the finished product,
yeah.
Everything firing on all cylinders.
And so he was like, why are you working for a corporate when you can own your own? And we were like, could we? Mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. And so we started digging in to find out, like, how can we do this for ourselves? And we kept digging and asking, like, what if we don't have all this money? How can we do this? And so we ventured out and found an SBA, like started digging
SBA
in.
loans,
Yep,
yeah.
SBA loans. And I think like from there, it just started to look a little more realistic.
Mm-hmm.
And so we started looking at locations near us in California and realized, maybe
Was
this won't
realistic.
work.
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
this won't work, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's really expensive for rent in California. And then we kind of toyed around with coming back here to his market, his home. And when we started doing the numbers, we were like, oh, whoa, I think we can do this. And so that's kind of how it all started. So this was over a year ago. I would say February of 2022 is when we actually started digging in and figuring out if this was realistic, and spoke to some SBA people, and we were like, oh my God, we're going to get this going.
Fantastic.
So how much of that was like nervous to start a new business, and then you also just being nervous to move away from California?
I mean, nervous to start a new business, big time, because we were working for corporate America, and it was like, nice, you have
Safe.
insurance.
Yeah.
AKA security.
You know what I mean? And
All
opening
of
up
it.
a business, I mean, there is a chance that you don't make it, right? And so there was a lot of that. But then we thought about, we have Connor in the other room, and we were like, well, once corporate America is over and we can't run studios anymore, then what? What do we do then? We have nothing left for him.
Yeah.
And so
This is their 4-year-old son we're talking
Yeah.
about. Yeah.
yeah, you're a much better podcaster than I am.
No worries. I'm just keeping our listeners engaged. Trying to.
And so we're like, man, we're going to have to take a risk for him, for our family. And so we're like, screw it. We're going to be successful. We're going to do this.
Very cool.
The housing market helped too. We were
No
able,
doubt.
Yeah, we were able to sell our house and move here and be comfortable for a while. It helped obviously with our investment ourselves. But yeah, I mean, we had to go all in on ourselves and believe in ourselves. And when you really believe in the product and what it's doing, then it was a no-brainer for us.
That's awesome. And so I want to say, like, one, commend you guys for that, because that's extremely tough. You know, you have that security, that proof, you know, and you also have a family to provide for, you know, and so all those things are the things that usually keep people in where they're at, right? And they're saying, you know, one day, and then it just, everything passes them by, you know, and so you guys see the opportunity here. I love the concept based on what you guys are telling me. I'm excited to try it out. You have all these other options though, right? Within Self-Esteem Brands, they have Anytime Fitness. Do they have other ones we should know about?
They have the Bar Method,
Okay.
waxing in the city.
Do they have Pure Bar, or is it called Bar Method?
The Bar Method. Bar
Bar
Method.
Method.
There's one on in Leawood.
Yeah.
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 BARRE. Yeah.
Real question I asked for you guys is, you have a lot of options out there.
Yep.
There's a tons of different fitness franchises, boutique gyms. You know, you could do Orange Theory, right? You could do 45 F45, right? You got F45, you got Orange Theory. I mean, the list goes on and on. There's so many, and there's people that in every one of these markets, there's somebody who's doing their own flavor of that, right? Here we have Upgrade, which is a really cool concept. Have you guys been to an Upgrade class?
No.
They're in Zone 6. You been to one?
I know Zone 6.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so their Upgrade classes, they have their own studio in Leawood, you know, that they're testing out there, and I think they'd like to franchise that at some point. But it seems to be that those models with these smaller square footages, higher priced memberships, but you get the tribe community that's really, really strong, which means you're going to get a great product, great results, culture of accountability built in. I think all that works really well. But what was it about Basecamp that you guys liked more? And this really goes back to your selling days, because you had people coming in from these other franchises saying, hey, why am I going to join Basecamp? I'm already an Orange Theory member.
I'll say for me,
yeah, what makes it switch? You know, like what makes it valuable?
I have a personal testimony that I had health issues in 2018. I suffered a stroke and I have cardiomyopathy of the heart. So my heart was at 20%. They said I was a 90-year-old man, but I was taking Basecamp class every day after. Started with a minute on the bike, and that was it. And then 5 pounds on the floor, back and forth, and got to the point where after 3 months, the doctors are like, whoa, what's going on? You're almost back to normal for your heart. And I'm sure there are other things could have done it, but like Basecamp was the easiest thing for me to get back in and go in every day and feel good about it. And the people that I worked with, and it was encouraging. And for me, there's a lot of options out there where you can have a good workout, but I felt trust there with the team and the workout and the coaches. And so for me, this is a no-brainer. This is what I want to be. I want it to be Basecamp.
Yeah, I mean, the weights you mentioned are definitely like something that's significantly different. I know that F45 incorporates things like dumbbells, kettlebells, but never a barbell, So you guys doing barbell workouts, how does that change things for you guys from like a equipment standpoint, from a space standpoint, and I'm assuming some liability insurance standpoint? So it's like so this is, forgive me because I'm probably going to be offensive in some capacity here. It feels like a combination of an Orange Theory with CrossFit.
Right. No. Yeah, except we don't do the running.
No running?
No running.
Just biking.
Just the bike.
Yeah.
Which is plenty.
And
I would say I would take the running over the bike. Truly.
you would take the running over the bike?
Truly, yeah. I mean, depends on the bike, right?
He's
like,
talking
Yeah.
about for easier.
I mean,
not
talking about for
better
easier,
workout.
not for a better workout.
For sure. Me too. I'd rather run than be on the bike. And
Yeah.
I think that's the thing, right? It's like people have a love-hate relationship with this bike. You hate it so much, but you get good results because it's always going to challenge you.
Yeah, the
Right.
calories on it. Do you guys do time or do you guys do calories?
We do
We do
both.
miles.
both.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of calorie challenges too. But
Because I'm telling you right now, the calories part is just the ultimate, like you can't hide.
Yeah.
no.
I was going, so Kyle just had a birthday workout over this last weekend, and we were doing like 45 calories for me, and he's like, I should probably take you like 3.5 minutes or so. How was that, like 4 calories a minute? That's where I was at when I got to like round 3, dude. I was dying.
This is not very good, Jeff.
That was the reason why I brought it up. I was like, dude, this can't be serious. I'm like really just doing what my body's allowing me to do at this point, because I was just like, this is over 30 minutes later of the workout and I just had nothing left. And I was like watching the thing and I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. I've only gone 4 calories. I've been on this thing for a minute. Unbelievable. So anyway, the whole biking for calories is just so difficult. You can't hide. I can run and not raise my heart rate and still go places. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For sure.
But the bike on calories,
Every
like,
time
brutal.
somebody gets on a bike, I'm like, listen, you're going to need to push it harder than you think you need to. And if you don't push it harder than you need to, it's still going to suck and it's just going to take twice as long.
Very good point. Very good point.
Yeah, and you were talking about the equipment. So we have barbells from 20 pounds up to 100. We have dumbbells from 2.5 to 60. We have kettlebells from 5 pounds to 60. I don't know, but we know that
so are these
people want to
barbells pre-built?
They are.
Okay,
Yeah,
so we're
yeah.
not adding plates.
No.
No.
Okay.
That's the layout.
So you see the
close to
barbells
ours,
are
yeah.
to the far right.
I saw them in the initial video too, where they were like in the kind of the pyramid stack.
Yep.
Wow, these are really cool.
And we'll put them out on the floor when the workout is starting.
Sure.
Yep. Because we're not going to use all the equipment you see here. We're probably only going to use 3 pieces of equipment in any given day.
Sure.
So you'll have your barbells and then your kettlebells or maybe body weight or
Sure.
dumbbells or whatever it may be. Yep.
So like this, so let's compare it to another. Like, I know you had that personal testimony, but let's say I'm selling, like you're selling me, right? I'm like, I go to 9 Round Fitness right now. Why am I going to pick Basecamp?
Can I porcupine you? What do you like about 9 rounds?
I mean, absolutely do that. Yeah. I like that it's convenient. I like that it's a class format. I like the tribe and communal aspect of it. I love that, I get to know that I get familiar with my other people that I'm in the classes with, as well as, so these are all things that you guys offer as well,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. What don't you like about 9 rounds?
Oh, that there's not a lot of weights.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know?
Well,
So-
perfect.
Yeah.
So
Walked myself into that.
Closed.
What do you not like about it? The price. How about that?
The
What's
price.
what's the difference in price? Anybody know?
So the pricing is, I don't. 9 rounds.
I don't know. How about what you guys cost?
So we're going to be very similar to what Orange Theory costs,
Sure.
right? And then right now we're running a founder's
Is that like
discount.
a 120 to 150 range, somewhere in there?
So your unlimited is going to be around 170.
Okay.
And then your 4-pack will be around 70. Yeah.
That's great. You guys do that's honestly very exciting. There's no doubt. What I love about, we meet a lot of customers who are getting started, right? And their foundation as far as their gym experience or their gym knowledge has usually been like playing a sport in high school or middle school, whatever. maybe taking a weights class in high school or college. But then after that, they just kind of like let fitness kind of get away from them, right? They were doing push-ups in their house, running around outside. All that's good and great, you know, but they were thinking, okay, I want to get into something that's going to make me be more accountable, more consistent, right? And what I love so much about any of these, honestly, I'm not going to say anything negative about any other business out there. I mean, 9 Rounds great, Orange Theory is great, but Basecamp is all you have to do is show up.
Yep.
It's the most simple. Like I once had a customer come in who was having this issue where they were getting started and they were, struggling because so many people were telling them different things. You should do this kind of set, or you should do this kind of volume, or you should do this kind of workout. And I said, like, just tell everybody stop talking, and also quit asking everybody for what they think. And just simply, I'm like, go sign up for this class-based gym and just go to the classes and follow this meal plan, please. And that's all you got to do. And if somebody asks you about what you're doing, don't even tell them. Just be like, talk to my trainer, and just leave it at that. But the fact that you guys have a situation now where people can just sign up and go to those classes, there's just no doubt about it. They're going to get in way better shape. Is that accurate, you think?
Totally. And I think that's what I love so much about Basecamp versus when I was at 24 Hour Fitness. We can sell people a membership all day long. But when they come in and they don't know what to do, they're going to come and not get great results, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so it feels so much better to sell someone a membership here and say, look, all you have to do is show up. And if you don't want to show up, we must have done something wrong to not motivate you to want to come in more. Mm-hmm. Like we're going to welcome, encourage, and celebrate you so that you constantly want to come back in. And when you come in, we're going to show you exactly what to do so that if you come in 3 or 4 days a week, you are going to see really great results.
I love that. Man, that's perfect. I mean, and you guys are in a situation where you have proven results. I mean, you guys have done this yourself. You obviously have gotten results yourself, Brian, but you are also in a position where you have all of the years of experience working there. So you know the ins and outs, like the things that are going to be a struggle for people. You already know where all the pain points are, where it's just people just kind of got to buck up and do it, right? Because when it comes down to it, there's never somebody that says like, oh, this place doesn't work. You're like, can't really walk yourself out of that.
No. And if you have an Apple Watch, it's even better because you can track your results on that watch. So you can see if you're not seeing results, maybe we're not pushing ourselves hard enough. Maybe we're just relaxing on the bike. But like if you see where your heart rate is at, then we can, and we've used this a lot where once in a while we'll have that where people are coming in 5 days a week and they're not seeing the results.
Let's see the data.
Yeah. So the numbers don't lie, right? And so I think, that's really helpful for us. And kind of like Orange Theory, you can track your results on our app and you can see kind of what your workout looks like. We also offer points. So if you're on the unlimited plan, if you hit 600 points in any given month, you'll get $17 off that next month. And you can do that for up to 24 months. So you'll get a pretty large discount if you're showing up. And then you'll also see great results. It'll just be
I love that.
Amazing.
I love that. Well, I mean, you got to reward your people that are going there the most.
Do you guys do anything for like support on like diet? Because obviously diet is a huge effect. Like if I was one of the, if I owned Basecamp and somebody's like, I'm not getting results, I would address intensity, and then I would two be like, but also it's totally easy to eat yourself out of the calorie deficit you're creating here. Do you guys give any support there, or like, is it kind
something
of
you refer out?
Yeah.
Yes, so we'll refer out. There was a point way back in the day where we tried to do all of that, and it was like, hey, let's just focus on what we're really good at, because we weren't sure what trainers were going to be able to provide
give
something
actual
right.
Totally.
Totally. So that's where we, resource out. So if somebody wants really great supplements, we're having them come to you. If somebody needs, a massage therapist, we're having them go to whoever.
Yeah.
Recovery, they're going to, so we partner with a bunch of people who we feel like are accredited.
Their thing.
Yeah. And so we'll say like, hey, you need to go to Supplement Superstores for that. You need to go to so-and-so for that. And of course we can give you the basics. Yeah. But we're not going to get super detailed.
That's essentially what we do with like training, our guys. Some of our guys are certified in personal training, but it's not to like actually write a workout for them. It's just to give them another layer of knowledge. But we always refer people to trainers who that is their thing.
Mm-hmm. No one's going to work as hard at helping a customer or a client than someone whose full-time job is to help people do that.
Right.
So, what do we do? You don't want to do that. I always tell people, it's like, yeah, you get a meal plan written by someone else, but if they're doing it for you as a favor, then you're going to get kind of a favor service, right? Where it's like, they'll get it to you. They'll email it to you at some point, when they feel like it. and it's like the cookie cutter one that they gave that other person, so on and so forth. And so,
Do you guys remember the name of the guy that was the investor that originally encouraged you?
Yes, Sam.
Yeah. He's a good friend of ours.
Is
so,
is he super pumped for you guys? Super
So
supportive?
pumped.
Yeah.
He'll be out here for our grand opening too.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very
exciting.
cool. I remember, it's a similar situation to when we began to, work at supplement superstores, and we were getting into the point where, we were going to start offering franchises. And our old boss, Andy, who owns supplement superstores, and he's also the owner of First Form, he was like, yeah, you guys can be business owners. And I remember thinking to myself, like, I can be a business owner, and he was like, yeah, there's no difference between you and anybody else that owns a business, man. And, just having somebody like that come into your life is so valuable, because up until that point, I don't know about you guys, but I never viewed myself as a business owner. I always thought, well, I never
remove those limiting beliefs, man.
Correct.
That's what we try to tell our staff all the time.
I went to college, did the college thing, then you get a job, and that's just, kind of what you do. And it isn't until, a lot of times, and my parents, not business owners as well, which I think that kind of gets passed down. If you have a parent that's a business owner, kind of gets passed down to you. But, for me personally, it was like I had to have him in my life to be like, you can be a business owner. Mm-hmm. So it sounds like Sam, was it? Mm-hmm. Very valuable person in you guys' lives.
For sure. I think he made a big believer out of both of us. My parents were both business owners, but I thought to be a business owner, especially to have something like Basecamp, you had to have a lot of backing, a lot of money, right? And so we never really thought that this was going to come true. And this is an absolute dream come true for us.
Yeah. Which it is nice, you guys' model. It's not like a big box gym where it's like, treadmills, you're buying, 20
taking
treadmills.
out a $2 million loan.
Yeah, it's just like, oh my god.
Just for equipment.
Yeah.
Right.
You got a 30-year note on, the equipment in your gym on top of the, it's just, gyms can get very expensive.
And
so
I want to go back to what you said. Like, I think we already discussed this, Christy, but I was like, why not us? Right. Like you were already. And so for anybody listening to this who is in a job setting right now and they're thinking, hey, why not me? Why can't I be a business owner? I want to clarify, when Kyle was being told this and when you were being told this, you guys were both performing at an extremely high level amongst your peers at the same job. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So, you're already the cream of the crop amongst your peers in the position that you're in. And you think like, hey, I'm going to win these awards. I might win this bonus. I might, get this pat on the back, this recognition. And all that at the time was like where you thought that's what it was about, like that's why you were doing it. It was trying to be the best you could be at something, and you get these rewards. But no one's ever thinking, well, how can I just go do this myself? Right. And so that's where I want to like give some pause, is because I hope that if anybody's listening to this, if you haven't truly mastered your craft, then I would actually implore you not to open your own business.
Yeah. You got to be the best first. I guess that's a big stipulation in that.
I feel like it's important to make that, because it's like, again, and don't think like, this gets really tough. There's people that have done something for a long time, and they think that also like gives them the price of admission. And it's like, no, man, if you're not winning all your internal awards that where you're working, there's a reason why you're not. And you could be really good at sales, and you could be maybe really good, at being a great team player, for example. You could possess some really great skills, but it doesn't warrant itself to where you should open a business, because the business owner, especially with the first one, has to wear all of the hats. They have to be good at everything. Otherwise, there's going to be a massive hole in your business. So I'm just asking, for our listeners that are genuinely interested at potentially opening their own franchise someday, whether it be an Orange Theory or a Basecamp Fitness, Anytime Fitness, or a Supplement Superstores maybe someday. You're thinking in your head, I have to be the absolute best at this first before I decide to go open my own. And here's the beauty of it all. You can try to be the best at that thing while they pay you to do it. So there's nothing cooler than the fact that you guys got paid to go to Basecamp school, if you will. And now you feel very confident on how to open one, operate one, grow and grow an entire market. And you got to do that all on somebody else's dime. So often we celebrate entrepreneurship, but I like to celebrate successors, because people that actually are good with, being under somebody else's umbrella first shows a tremendous amount of humility, I think. I was in a final interview with someone recently, and I was like, what do you want to do long term, man? And he was like, oh, dude, because he was working at a franchise and he was doing really well. And I said, well, what are you going to do long term? And he's like, well, I want to go start my own gym and do this. I said, what's the gym industry missing right now that you feel like you need to put your own name on it? And he got really quiet. Like, what's the gym industry missing? What amazing thing are you going to do? Right.
Yeah.
And I didn't say like a smart ass. I'm just like, what's it missing? Like, what spin are you putting on it? And I got to the bottom of it. I'm like, it's just because your name's going to be on it. You just wanted to do it because you wanted to be special. You want it to be your thing and you don't want it to be somebody else's thing. I'm like, hey man, that's cool, but you should probably try to find a real problem to solve first. Besides, it doesn't have your name on it. I was like, there's a lot of success to be had if you just opened up more of the franchises that you're going to school for right now, learning how to master how to do it. I'm like, wow, why would you not just open up more of those? Because you're a master at that.
Right.
And he was like, oh, well, that's not mine. I mean, like that. And I'm like, why does that matter?
I mean, our investor even, hey, why don't you guys just do your own thing like that? And we're like, no, we know this concept. We know it works. We believe in it. Instead of doing something else, we want to do it. It's proven.
Well, and you guys also have a little bit of your DNA in it. If you were
Right.
teaching other people how to create the cultures, how to do the sales, how to, there is a level of like, you probably feel like you helped create what it's became anyways. That's kind of how we feel with Supplement Superstores.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, obviously,
Some real ownership, some sweat equity built
some
in.
sweat equity. Yeah.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we kind of look at Supplement Superstores like it's our own. Like, even though, we didn't start Supplement Superstores corporate. So,
Yeah. When people open their Basecamp Fitness, I feel like, God, just give me 2 weeks with your team members and we can whip them into shape, because we have a style of how we coach our team and our trainers or our coaches. And you're absolutely right. Like, when I see it and it's different from what we know,
yeah.
it's like, whoa, that's different. That's not the Basecamp way.
It's fun watching people how they approach it, right?
So we do definitely feel like we have a little bit of a sense of ownership, and we feel like, hey, we built this thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
When you guys were looking for locations, was there other places that you were looking at really hard? I mean, I see where you guys are at. You guys went and paid the extra for the sign on the back and the front.
Being business owners, we notice
Was that
those
a-
type of things
We
because they're
had to.
expensive.
We weren't able to get a monument sign there. And so we had to do that, or else we wouldn't be visible.
You guys are like across the hall from a 9-round, I want to say. Used to be.
We are. We're
Is
in
it
the same.
shopping
Yep.
center?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So some people are going to be exploring, I think. But, what made you guys pick that spot? Because there's a lot of great spots on 135th. But for everybody listening, I believe it's 135th in Antioch, right there next to Penn Station.
Yes.
That's an amazing neighbor. Just know that.
They're awesome.
I'm a huge
I had to
fan
tell
of Penn
Jeff
Station.
about that Penn Station today.
I told you about that Penn Station
No,
today. You were
you
saying
were
it was
saying
on
there was only
159th and Schweitzer or
Yeah.
something. And I was like, no, man.
I didn't mean Schweitzer. I meant Antioch.
Yeah. I said it's 135th and Antioch. You weren't even close.
Yeah. Whatever.
Anyways, Penn Station, I've been going since I was in high school. Love that place.
Yeah, that guy's been there for a while.
Is he? Yeah, I mean, I just was happy to find one when I moved here because I'm not actually from here.
Oh, is that from Philadelphia?
You know what? It's a good question. I know
Where
it's,
are you
it's
from?
Penn Station's East Coast subs. I'm from
Okay.
St. Louis.
Okay.
And so we had them, it's just around the St. Charles, St. Louis area. Kyle used to have one around the corner from his South County supplement superstore that he used to manage.
Yeah,
Remember that one?
did never notice. Yeah.
I actually have eaten there with him. Don't let him lie to you. So,
You probably forced me into it.
yeah, it was a memorable experience for me. He didn't think anything of it, but so anyway, I like notice all the details. I nerd out on the details of businesses. That's just something I like to do. But anyways, they do a good job. You guys are next door. But what made you pick that spot? Was it the Whataburger across the street?
I mean, we looked
Looking for the most unhealthy spots? Let's get right in the middle.
exactly.
Okay.
Red Robin's right there.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I mean, we thought it'd take us no time to find a spot.
Yep.
We moved in August last year. We're like, we'll find a spot in December. We're
Easy.
ready to go.
Yeah.
Construction will be done. We'll be ready to go. And it didn't go like that. It took us a while.
What are the roadblocks that you guys walk into with those?
So we
Real
needed
estate.
3,000 square feet.
Yep.
How much?
3,000 square feet.
Okay. Typically
High
end cap.
ceilings. Yeah. End cap if we can. What's close by, 135th, there's a lot of good stuff. So we wanted to make sure that we
Good
were visible.
co-tenants and traffic.
Absolutely. And so we kept looking, and I mean, the price was right as well. So that helps. And so the goal actually for number one was going to be Liberty. That's where we live. That's where we wanted it to be. Couldn't find number one. Couldn't find the right spot. We knew Overland Park was going to be one of them.
Liberty's really tough, isn't it, guys?
Yeah.
Not a lot of easy access either.
No.
Yeah, not a lot of inventory, not a lot of access.
Stuff's just stacked on top of stuff there.
Yeah. So we knew Overland Park would be one of them, and so we found the right spot. It's the size that we wanted. It's like we talked about it
was our first store for. I mean, for any consolation, it was our first location as well here, and so
Overland Park.
Yeah, that community's been phenomenal to us and for us, and the people that live there are honestly just amazing people.
Yep.
And I know the original owner of that 9 Round, we became really great friends with, and they did really great there too. So I think you guys are in a great spot.
Yeah, I mean, we love it. We do. It's 40 minutes from home, so it's a little bit of a trek, but we love it. But we had anticipated when we moved here, we thought we were going to grand open in January.
Oh, wow.
And here we are in August.
Yeah. It never goes as planned. We know all
feeling.
about this.
I know that feeling.
Yeah.
We were like, is this going to happen? Is this ever going to happen? Why is it so hard to lock in a space?
How about this? Another question I'd have for you is just the volume, like the sound of weights dropping, so on and so forth. I know you guys really don't have a ton of that.
Mm-hmm.
It's not exactly CrossFit where people are just throwing stuff around, but it was, having a boot camp style workout. You guys are playing some music, I'm assuming.
Mm-hmm.
And are the co-tenants okay with this?
So we do a lot of installation, which is pretty pricey, and that's also why we didn't want anything that was like at the bottom of
apartments
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
We've done that before in the past and it hasn't panned out well, where the landlord was always complaining.
Mm-hmm.
And so we were like,
I've complained.
Luckily
slam classes below my house. It was the worst. They're banging drumsticks on the ground. I'm like, what are we doing?
Yeah. So we are at an end cap, and there's a hallway, an empty hallway, kind of before the other side, so that it's and the room is noise canceling as well too.
You guys thought of everything, of course. That's awesome. I mean, I'm assuming like those are just some of the roadblocks that you have to hit when you're starting a business. These are like the only difference, right? And this is again for our listeners that are ever considering opening their own franchise someday or have dreams of opening their own gym someday. It's like all you have to do is just operate the business first and do it at a really high level, right? Like be an expert at that, and then you'll be fine. All the other stuff you'll learn, and it's just annoying. And it's funny that you have to think about it, but it's like things like, oh, there's actually like a sound issue there.
Yes.
Like I'm going to have to actually figure out
do
how
they
to solve that problem.
Yeah. Do they provide you guys with like a GC, or did you guys have to find your own?
So they do provide a GC, like a preferred vendor GC, but we were able to bid out several different ones, and then we got to pick who we wanted. And so, we were involved.
Save some money that way.
Question:
Yes,
preferred
we saved some
vendors,
money.
were they typically more pricey or were they cheaper? Typically more pricey.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, we're we figured out that's always usually the same.
Yeah.
Do your own homework, people.
Yeah.
Call your own people.
We're learning a lot for our second location.
Absolutely.
Our price to build out locations just has over the years has plummeted because we're like, oh, you don't need to spend money on this.
Exactly.
There's so many things in the beginning that you don't realize that,
We are now our own GC.
Yeah.
See, I think eventually we're going to be our own GC, really, because we were so involved in this one. And it was actually, that's kind of
And it's still 9 months later than you thought. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Seriously. And it was hard because we're planning on being so owner operator. And so I'm the studio manager. I've got to grow the business. I got to sell the memberships, And when I did this back in Pasadena, I was a corporate employee, so I didn't care about any of the construction part. I was just ground and pound, sell these memberships. And so we got to 300 members before we opened within the 2.5 months that I was working there. And here it's a different market. It's a different time, so things have changed a lot. And we definitely didn't get to where I got back when we grand opened Pasadena. But it was a lot of learnings where it's really challenging to be upset about, like, when things go wrong with construction, it's our own dime. And I'm like livid, heated,
Oh yeah.
So I'm like angry, talking to people and like, why did this happen? What's wrong with this timeline? And then boom, I have to answer a phone call and be like, hi, welcome to Basecamp. That was challenging for me.
For sure.
And I never thought about it before because I was never really unhappy with anything,
Yeah.
right?
Welcome to wearing all the hats,
Yes,
guys.
yes.
Yeah.
So it's
And it's
The
amazing. Oh man, we gotta say this.
The hard thing is
ahead,
like basically, taking your energy and realizing that like the energy that you put into like the construction or anything that's on the backside is actually just not very important in comparison to like the sales in the front end of things. Like what you guys are already good at is the thing that's hard to get good at, which is basically the customer interaction, the culture building. The construction and back end of like a business is just kind of annoying stuff,
totally.
And the most annoying aspect that we always found was over and over and over again. It's like, why is it so hard for people to just take our money? It's like unbelievable that no one wants like, hey, can you get this done for me in the next 3 weeks? And they're like, I don't think so, man. You're like, what? They're like, hey, can we get you out here to help us with this phone line? Like AT&T, could you hook us up with internet? They're like, you got an availability in 2 months. And you're like, dude, what is happening? Nobody wants our money. It's like you try to give people help. Like, you're trying to call up on anybody. Hey, you want some help with plumbing? Like, hey, can I have somebody come out to this, put in this new toilet for us? What's the address? Okay, we'll send somebody out there. You don't hear from them. You call, no one answers. It's just like, this is crazy. Yeah. I need to get in all the construction business.
Yeah.
It's also taken us a long time to define, people that we can rely on in every different like aspects.
Correct. Yeah,
when
we
it
don't
comes to,
we don't struggle anymore because once you find one that does it well and does
Yeah.
it right, you got your person, right?
Yeah.
And you know what you'll find, and this is something I'm sure you guys have already recognized, but your membership base, it'll be your members.
Oh,
These
yeah.
will be the people that you are going to give your money to.
Yeah.
Yep.
So like both of us basically have redone or completely like built our houses with nothing but our own customers. Our HVAC for our entire company is ran by one of our first customers we had.
shout out Chad Ingalls.
That's right. Shout out KC Comfort Pros.
Yep.
Free plug. What's up?
No, but that's the best, the referral business. People you trust already is who you're going to give your business to.
Yeah.
Hey, and who are you going to trust more than people that you sweat with?
Yep.
That's what it's about.
So what's your least favorite thing about Kansas, Missouri versus California?
All this positivity, Kyle, you're going to throw in this negative?
I just feel like this is interesting to talk about.
Yeah. What sucks about Kansas compared to California?
Or I guess if we want to make it positive, what do you miss most about California?
I miss the beaches and the palm trees
Oh, yeah.
and the mountains because I don't know my directions without mountains.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys can get one of those like plastic palm trees that people throw in their backyards. You know what I'm saying?
So
Well,
we
she
got-
bought a real palm
course I
tree,
did.
and it lasted about 2
Funny
days.
story.
It didn't survive.
I
She
can't
doesn't
believe
have the
it
green
didn't
thumb.
survive.
No.
Oh wow! Why wouldn't it,
It
not
didn't.
survive?
0 degrees in the wintertime. I
Yeah.
can't believe the palm
know.
tree.
You're going to get a greenhouse to go with yours?
Well, I wanted to, and we went to a friend's house, and they had this like big, I don't know, like a big barrel, and they used to put barbecue sauce in it. But anyways, now he like collects rainwater and plants all his trees with the rainwater, constantly recycling. And
Were you just hosing it right there?
I wasn't, but I was like, we need everything they have here. We need to do that. We need to grow our own fruit. We need to grow our own this or that. I looked.
We're going to
into a
live off
lemon
the
tree.
land.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, why not, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, my
Building
wife has
a-
a huge garden.
Building a commune. We're just going to have our friends all live on the same land as us.
We wanted to do that, but then all these change orders from construction.
Yeah,
Wah,
it's kind.
wah.
You guys just got to
You're
get
like,
2
no.
more base camps open up,
Yep.
and then you guys can
Yep.
get it back good.
Exactly.
Within the next 2 years.
Yeah.
Yep.
I love it. Does there so did you guys do like a development agreement when it came to starting up the franchise? Mm-hmm. Man, oh man. So there's like timelines on that stuff too?
So, yes, there are timelines, but we did talk about, I think they wanted people to open up the franchises much faster than what was realistic. And I think to be smart about it is you open it up and you see what some of those mistakes are and have some time to pivot, And so we're not going to open our next one until a year later. And there are some people who, and honestly, if we could open more, maybe we would have, but it just didn't work out like that with SBA loans and all that good stuff.
Totally.
But we feel like it's the right move so that we can learn from everything here.
Totally.
Yeah.
And really, I mean, you're going to get a team that you guys hire, and you're going to have some people that have to be groomed, and then that they get the amazing opportunity of managing their own club when they open up. You guys open up a second one.
So, funny story, we met some really, really great people when we were out here for the barbecue. So thank you for having us out there. And we hired somebody Actually, there might be a couple of that we met at that barbecue, the S2 Superstore barbecue. One is an employee now, and a couple of them are training to be coaches for us.
Very cool.
exciting.
Yeah, so it was great.
Yeah.
That actually was when I felt like, whoa, we're in the right community, is when I came to that barbecue.
Great.
Because
Very
before
cool.
that, I never saw that many people who were fitness and health minded in one spot. And I did wonder, like, man, are we just not hitting the right spots, or is this not the right market?
So I
once
promise
that-
we're here. We
man,
just got to get them together.
That I was pumped once, and sorry, I mean, it just so happened that it was like 4 months after we were pre-selling, but I wish it would have happened earlier. But no, but it was so great. We were like, wow, this community has so many people who are into fitness and health.
And I'll tell you right now, that's a testament to our team, because our staff, for example, like, I mean, when me and Kyle
We hired
started.
her.
Oh, which
that's
one?
what's up.
Bailey?
Bailey.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, yeah.
She's so great.
Yeah, Bailey's phenomenal. And she's up in Liberty, too. You know, doesn't she live up in Liberty?
She will eventually.
She made at our last awards banquet, just like we hire out the people that shop with us.
Yeah.
We had some special cookies, and she was the one that made all those cookies, Kyle. I don't know if you
Oh,
know
yeah?
that.
Oh,
Like,
yeah. She did say she
bakes like these really extreme special, you know, like stuffed cookies, like they're like over the top. And so we had her make a bunch of those cookies for our team for our awards banquet we did
Oh,
in
man,
January.
she's awesome.
No, we got good people, and you know, all I would say is the community will find you, right? You gotta be the culture that you want to create, and so it's been cool, man. I mean, like it's honestly been like the most rewarding aspect of opening the business is obviously just the people that we get to create memories with. You know what I mean? It's not about the moments; it's the people you actually spend the moments with. That's what it's about.
When we asked all of our members in Pasadena to tell us why they like Basecamp, it was all about the culture, the community, the people that they've met. And many of them actually met in 2016 during our pop-up workouts. And they're still friends to this day. They're going to actually travel here for our grand opening, but none of them knew each other before Basecamp. And now they travel to Hawaii together. They do all these things together. And there's a group of probably 7 or 8 of them. And it's just amazing to see. And that's what we want to do here. And those are the stories that makes us feel like this is what we're going to do in Kansas City.
You're in the
This
right
is so
place.
exciting.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, we're pumped to try it out. We have a whole slew of people that are coming next Wednesday. I heard. The day after this podcast
You gonna
releases.
get you on a little salt bike there, Jeff?
I don't think so, because
Oh.
you and I have a meeting in St. Louis.
Oh yeah, it's
At
Wednesday.
6:15 a.m.
Yeah.
We'll be in St. Louis, but this
We'll be
podcast
driving
will
to
release
St. Louis.
the day before. So our
Perfect.
team will, sweat a lot and then tell everybody how much they enjoyed it.
You guys have been so supportive and so awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you let us know if there's anything we can do to help you guys out, because obviously we want to see you guys succeed. You know, it's rough starting a new business. I know what it's like, and you know, just talking through you guys' story about, you know, the contractors and everything, it's like bringing me back, you know. It's,
Oh, yeah.
But, you know, there is something that, you know, what you guys said about the culture when you're on an assault bike and dying with somebody, there's like a weird connection that you get with somebody.
Totally.
When you watch somebody die on an assault bike with you, you're just, you know, it just brings you in. That's why I like group fitness. So
Yeah, I mean, we're excited. The brand awareness is tough. Nobody knew who we were.
We didn't know anybody here.
Yeah, I mean, we're, you know, it's been difficult to get our name out there, but now that we are, people are falling in love. We started running some pop-up in the studio. The studio looks great. The workouts are amazing, but
All it takes is just more and more people getting the experience, right?
Totally.
Just getting them in.
We're going to do a charity ride. We do a charity ride every quarter. So I think our first one will be for
A ride, I'm sorry. Describe for us what a charity ride is.
A charity ride. It's we call it a Claim Your Mile charity ride. And so we pick, every quarter we do one company-wide, and each franchisee or each location can pick a local foundation that they want to donate to. And so those classes are free. It's usually on a Saturday. You come in, for every mile you cycle, we will donate $1 to that foundation. So we already have locked in for October the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. In December it'll be Alzheimer's awareness. But it's a fun class. We typically have a DJ. Every time your bike hits a mile, you raise your hand, mile, and we'll tally on the board. And then people get to earn shirts, right? So if you hit 5 miles, so if you and a partner hit 10 miles on the bike, we'll celebrate you with a 5-mile shirt. If you hit 12 miles, you'll get a 6-mile shirt. And, you know, then there's a 7-mile shirt too. And I have not earned the 7-mile shirt yet. It's crazy because you're only on that bike for a short 15 minutes. So you gotta,
Go.
Holy Moses. You
Yeah.
only got 15 minutes to do it.
yeah. But it's fun for our members to like be celebrated. They get to earn their shirts. We have like a challenge board
Oh,
where
yeah.
you
It's
can
just
put your
positivity
name on
on
it.
positivity
Yeah.
on positivity. I mean,
Yeah.
everybody wins on that day.
Yeah. And there
You
are
know.
tons of shirts you can earn. Strong start in your first 10 classes in the first month. You'll earn a shirt at 100, 250, 500, 1,000. We're making a 2,000 shirt for our California studios now. So it's fun. It's just we love celebrating our members. We used to have a random awesomeness t-shirt. We might bring that back. So when you did something very base camp, like, I don't know, like if somebody was having a hard time taking their weight off and you went and you helped them, or you did something super cool, we would under the table slip you a random awesomeness t-shirt and say, hey, thanks for being a Basecamp member.
That's awesome.
That is
Yeah.
cool.
That's a good value add.
Yeah, I
Love
like
that.
it. I like it a lot.
So we ask every single person the same question at the end of this podcast, and it feels good to ask some people that live in Kansas. We've had the last couple guests that are not from that are not local. But would love to ask you guys. Christie,
Technically
you're new.
Missouri, but yeah.
Yeah, Christie, you're new, but Brian's from here. So what barbecue are you most looking forward to coming home to? And then Christie, what is your go-to spot now that you live here?
Q39 for me.
Oh, Q39 is pretty good.
That's a good answer.
They have the
Christy.
best wings.
Oh, you agree? Oh,
You
Okay,
agree- they're called the best damn wings.
they
on
are the best
planet.
damn wings.
But every time I came here before this year, was it this year?
Yep.
I've been coming here for the last 9 years, and we've gone to all these barbecue places, and we never had chicken wings ever.
No,
And so I had it for the first time, and I was like,
kind of
whoa.
had to because they called them the best damn wings on the planet, right? So you're like, I mean, what are these all about? That's
So
a bold
good.
claim.
So-
Think about it. Bold claim. Just
Bold
saying.
claim.
And they indeed were, weren't they?
What is a bowl of clam?
A bold claim.
Oh, a bowl of clam. I was like, wait, what? Bowl
just
of
like a
clam?
Bowl of clams.
Did everybody hear
She's
bowl
like,
of clams?
no, they're,
So that's a
they're
bold claim.
chicken.
Yeah, it's chicken, not clams.
Yeah.
She'll be looking for that on the menu tonight. Yeah.
I've been known to mumble, so I'll give you credit for that. But all I'm saying is to say you're the best damn wings on the planet at a barbecue place, bold claim.
Have you had Jack Stack's Fire Kissed
What's Fire Kiss?
wings?
Oh, no, I haven't.
You got to check those out. They're pretty good too.
Okay.
They do a wood fire, and Kyle and I are huge fans of a totally different kind of wing, though.
It really is.
They're wings that don't make you hate yourself after eating them.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Yeah.
like that. So what's your favorite barbecue joint?
That's a great question. No one ever
I
asks
like
us.
I like slaps. Have you had slaps yet?
It's somebody, an Uber driver,
Yo.
remember? He told me about slaps,
Go
but
get
we've never
slaps.
had it.
Stands for
So-
squeal like a pig.
Does it really?
good.
Does.
Oh,
Yeah, but slaps or Q39
That's
both are really
KCK.
good.
okay.
That's KCK spot.
If I bring if I have somebody come visit me, I would take them to Jack Stack because it's like the nicest restaurant, you know. But if somebody's just like down to go get like barbecue for lunch and don't mind, just walking through a line, then slaps is where it's at.
Another fun fact, something to Google when you guys get done here, is the Rock Island Bridge development. They're making a park. It's the first aerial park in the country. Are we all familiar? Everybody heard of this? Okay. Luke's going to bring it up for you guys to see because it's actually quite beautiful. Love Kansas City for what we do sometimes as far as like cutting edge things. And the Rock Island Bridge is an old railroad bridge that they've completely closed down, and they are now turning it into a park that connects Missouri and Kansas, right? So look, it's going to have multiple
Wow.
tiers, right? You can see the render right there is great. And there's going to be restaurants along the top, and there's bars as well. And Slaps is putting a location on the bridge.
Let's
That's
go.
So cool. Where is this?
As you can see in the distance of that render, that white thing that you see, that is actually the Hy-Vee Arena.
So are they working on this right now with all
Right
that
now.
construction that they're doing?
That's part of it. That's the Buck O'Neill Bridge you're thinking of, Kyle, as far as like the the 169 highway bridge by the downtown airport. But just
Yeah.
keep going further down, like where West Bottoms is,
Yeah.
and the Hy-Vee Arena. That's where the Rock Island Bridge is. So much smaller bridge,
Oh,
but it goes across the river. And then they're also adding.
that is the way towards slaps.
But how
anyways.
cool, right? Then they're also doing a zip line though from the bridge to Hy-Vee Arena.
Oh my
So you'll be able to
gosh.
zip line across the bridge, and they're doing floating docks. They're doing floating docks down there that you can walk down and do like. So this is the coolest part. Like for me, I live downtown, so like you'll be able to kayak and canoe and stuff from down there. They're gonna let you get on the river and actually like
Is
kayak
that
and
safe?
stuff.
Are you joking? You're laughing. So is this real? Are you joking? You get
This
to
is
canoe?
all real. Yeah, it's all real. I swear.
I'm just thinking of Zipline. What's that show that you like?
Oh, Kyle just went to like the I think you should leave clip from the movie.
Where he's like,
there's a show I think you should leave.
I think I'm gonna have to break up with you because he won't stop ziplining.
No.
Have you guys seen that show?
No.
Don't watch it. It's so
deep,
dumb.
It's a deep cut.
So
but
dumb.
It was just simply like it's a hilarious comedy show from a guy that used to be on SNL named Tim Robinson, but he was on a dating show like The Bachelor, right? And they were like voting him off, and she was just like, "Hey, you know, you didn't really seem interested. Every chance you got, you were just on the zip line in the pool."
It just like cuts to him like just on the zip line having the best
Just
time.
imagine like a 40-year-old dude just like super serious, like a little kid would be, at like a public pool on a zip line and doing like jumps off of the top of it. Here it is.
Yeah.
All you do all day is go on the zip line.
So that is what I was thinking that we would do into the river. You know,
Love it.
the spin move at the end is the best one. All right.
Jeff's made me watch that show too many times, and that's why when he said zip line, I just started cracking up because I'm like, how is he going to
I
talk
was like,
about
why
the
is it
zip line?
the thought of me kayaking just that funny, Kyle? Like, gosh, dang, dude. Anyways, hey, we wish you guys the absolute best.
Yeah.
We'll support you in the way we can, and you know, this is what it's all about for us, Kansas City fitness community. Local fitness is what we love to support. So please let us know how we can continue to help you guys, and we are excited to try you out. If you guys haven't already, go check out Basecamp Fitness in Overland Park. And is there anything we need to know? Is there anything you guys want to? We can edit this out at the end right now, but we can edit this out if we need to. Is there any kind of offer you would like to give out to our listeners?
Yes, we have a founding membership, founding members offer, and right now everyone gets 15% off our memberships and a limited edition Basecamp Overland Park t-shirt, a swag bag. It's got to be before we open, though, before August 10th.
Awesome.
Okay,
Get in here,
cool.
guys. You'll have, by the time this airs, you'll have 2 days.
2 days. You better hurry.
Something like that.
Better hurry.
Cool.
Thank you
All right,
guys
thanks,
again.
guys.
Thank you.